Today we're going to talk about generating equivalent expressions. If you look at these three problems here, 4 plus 2, 3 plus 3, and 1 plus 5, all of them equal 6. So they are equivalent expressions. The same thing is true in the ones on the right-hand side here in red. All of these would simplify to being equal to b plus 6, because all we would do is we just would go ahead and do the operation we can and change those to 6. So those are equivalent expressions, and b's value, no matter what it is in any of those three expressions, you're going to come up with the same answer. The commutative property goes ahead and says the order in which we add or multiply does not matter for a pair of numbers. So if we look at this first problem here, 3 plus b, that's equivalent to b plus 3. So 3 plus b and b plus 3, it doesn't matter what order they're in. They're the same expression. They're equivalent expressions. Because no matter what b's value is, you're still going to come up with the same answer. Same here. There's a commutative property for multiplication too. 5 times h and h times 5 will give you the same answer, no matter what value h has. So the next property we're going to deal with is called the associative property. And this one has to deal with parentheses. It's a little bit more complicated. But all it means is that if you have addition or multiplication solely, if you look here, this is all addition, this is all multiplication. If you just have addition, you can go ahead and change around the order in which you add things. So if we look here, 3 plus b would be the first thing we do because that's in parentheses according to order of operations. And then we'd add the 7. But according to the associative property, it doesn't matter what order I do it in. I can go ahead and choose to do 3 plus 7 first and then add the b, because since it's all addition, it doesn't matter. The same thing applies for multiplication. In the bottom problem here, it's 5 times c in parentheses, so I'd have to do that first, times 2. Or I could switch it around to being 5 times 2 and then times c. So this is just a way of manipulating it to make it a little bit easier to simplify. So the last property is the one that's really the new one. Those other ones probably made sense, the associative and commutative property. But this one here is called the distributive property, and this is a biggie. And what this means is this is a way of distributing. When you have something like this that says 3 times the quantity 2h plus 6, that's what that means. It means I'm going to distribute this multiplication problem and then this multiplication problem into two new problems. So when I do 3 times 2h, that's this part right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and do 3 times 6, and that's this part right here. And a lot of times it's easier to simplify things if you can do it that way. Let's look at this one here as well. This is 5 times the quantity 7 plus c. So I can do 5 times 7, and that's what this is, and then 5 times c, which is that. And remember, 5 times c, if you want, you can put a little 1 in front there because there's 1c, and then we end up with that right there. So again, this was the basic introduction to the distributive property and a review of the commutative property and associative property. That's all we're going to do today. We're going to tackle these more tomorrow.